They called him the semi-trailer, a man built like thunder, raised from the red soil of Fiji, and feared on every field he stepped on. From barefoot beginnings to Olympic gold, this is not just a rugby story, this is the rise of Semi Radradra, the unstoppable force who carried a nation's dream. Welcome back to Skylight Waves, where we dive deep into the lives of athletes who turn obstacles into legends. And today, we're rolling into the story of a man whose name alone made defenders nervous, Semi Radradra. Early life. He was born Semi Radradra Turagasili Wakavadu, on June 13, 1992, in the tiny village of Somosomo, on Fiji's Tavuni Island, known as the Garden Island of the Pacific. Life there was simple, but not easy. Semi's training ground wasn't a gym, it was the mountain trails, rivers, and coconut trees of his village. He sprinted barefoot, climbed hills for strength, and played rugby on fields of mud and grass with nothing but raw hunger. His family lived humbly, but they raised him on faith and community. In those early days, rugby was more joy than dream, but destiny had other plans. The accidental discovery, from Fiji to Australia. In 2011, Semi represented Fiji in the Dubai Sevens. Scouts weren't even there for him, but the moment he touched the ball, everything changed. His mix of power, pace, and agility was impossible to ignore. The Parramatta Eels came calling. Within months, Semi, the village boy who had never left the islands, found himself in Australia, chasing a new life in rugby league. The early days were tough. He barely spoke English, missed home terribly, and almost quit. But every night, he prayed and reminded himself of his family's sacrifices. That faith kept him grounded. The birth of the semi-trailer. When Semi debuted for the Parramatta Eels in 2013, fans didn't know what was coming. By 2014, they had their answer. He wasn't just scoring, he was destroying defenses. Power like a freight train, balance like a dancer, and a stride that made entire stadiums gasp. Commentators began calling him the semi-trailer, because once he started running, no one could stop him. In 2015, he finished as the NRL's top try-scorer, and was named Dally M Winger of the Year. From Fiji's dirt fields to rugby league royalty, Semi Radradra had arrived. Controversy and crossroads. But like many great stories, fame came with turbulence. In 2016, Semi faced off-field controversies that tested his faith, his family, and his mental strength. The headlines were loud, but his silence was louder. He chose to walk away from the noise, signing with Toulon in France to begin a new chapter, this time, in rugby union. Many said he wouldn't survive the switch. But Semi had been underestimated his whole life. Redemption in France. His first match for Toulon silenced every critic. Just 62 seconds into his debut, try. The semi-trailer had arrived in Union. From Toulon to Bordeaux to Bristol Bears, he became a human highlight reel. Defenders in Europe learned what Australia already knew, Semi wasn't just powerful, he was poetic in motion. Olympic glory. In 2021, Semi returned to where it all began, representing Fiji at the Tokyo Olympics. For him, it wasn't about money, or fame, or headlines. It was about home. And when Fiji won gold in rugby sevens, tears rolled down his face as he said, "This is for every child in Fiji who dreams with bare feet." That line became legendary. Semi wasn't just a champion, he was a symbol of what's possible when faith meets fire. Club success and leadership. Back in club rugby, Semi became a global star, leading by example, mentoring young players, and staying humble. Whether it was Toulon, Bordeaux, Bristol, or the Barbarians, he carried the same message everywhere: play for purpose, not praise. Even after injuries and setbacks, Semi continued to evolve, a player of brute force and beautiful humility. Personal life. Radradra is a devout member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and married his wife in the Suva, Fiji temple in 2017. Despite facing legal challenges in 2017 over domestic violence allegations, which were later proven false and dismissed in court, Radradra has continued to rebuild his image and career with humility and dedication. Nicknamed the Semi-Trailer for his unstoppable power and direct running style, Radradra remains a beloved figure in Fijian sport and a symbol of the island nation's rugby excellence. Before we wrap up, here are some untold fun facts about the man they call the Semi-Trailer, the legend himself, Semi Radradra. The island that built him. Semi comes from Somosomo Village in Toulon, the Garden Island of Fiji. Locals say he used to sprint barefoot up steep mountain trails carrying coconuts for training. His strength was built in nature, not in a gym. Almost became a pastor. Before rugby fame, Semi considered becoming a church missionary. His deep faith remained central to his life. He even married his wife in the Suva Fiji temple. Discovered by accident. At the 2011 Dubai Sevens, scouts weren't even watching him, but his electric pace caught their eyes. Within months, he was on a plane to Australia to join Parramatta. 62-second statement. When he switched from league to union, critics said it'd take years to adapt. It took him just 62 seconds, that's how long it took to score his first try for Toulon in the European Champions Cup. Dual code, dual nation. He's one of the very few players ever to represent both Fiji and Australia in rugby league, and then return to shine for Fiji in rugby union. Birth of the Semi-Trailer. The nickname, Semi-Trailer, came from commentators who said he ran like a freight truck with no brakes, and it stuck forever. The 90-meter farewell. In his final NRL game, Semi scored a 90-meter solo try, a farewell gift to Parramatta fans before leaving for France. Olympic pride. After winning Olympic gold in Tokyo, he said, "This is for every child in Fiji who dreams with bare feet." That line became legendary back home. The gamer. Off the field, he's a quiet gamer, often playing FIFA with teammates to relax and unwind after matches. Faith over fame. Despite his fame, he still visits his village to support schools and young players, reminding them that greatness begins with gratitude. From barefoot dreams to Olympic gold, Semi Radradra isn't just a name, he's a movement. The Semi-Trailer rolls on. Legacy. From barefoot trails in Toulon to Olympic podiums in Tokyo, Semi Radradra's journey is proof that greatness isn't about where you start, it's about how far you're willing to run. The Semi-Trailer's legacy is not just written in tries and trophies, it's written in faith, in family, and in the hope of every Fijian child who dares to dream. This has been another story from Skylight Waves, where legends rise, and stories never stop rolling. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and let us know, who should we dive into next.